Rin jolted awake to the sound of a message alert. Squinting and frowning, she drowsily reached for her phone to see. "I've left my place. What time will you get to the office?" The message flashed beneath the timestamp. 5:30. 5:30? Is she sleep texting or something? Rin muttered to herself, tapping into the chat, but didn't reply. She just locked her phone and snuggled back into her body pillow. Meanwhile, the person who had already left the house and arrived early at work was busy transforming the office with the help of Andy Jum, the company's trusted housekeeper. They began with a common area, where staff often brought food to eat. "You can throw away everything in this section, especially those on the counter and here. And here. This spot too," Akbab instructed. "Same goes for the model workshop room. For this zone, place cockroach traps everywhere. I want them wiped out, leaving none left in the company." Auntie Jum nodded with diligence. Within a few hours, the cluttered rooms were brought into order. Items were returned to their rightful places. Junk and scraps were all thrown out. When the staff began arriving, they were stunned and unsure if they had even walked into the right company. "This is our office? It used to look this nice," Chan exclaimed in disbelief. "From now on, please help keep things clean, all right?" Everyone gave a quick nod before Akbab signaled for them to head off for work. All but one, who was stared down and stopped before she could leave. Hands on her hips, Akbab spoke to Rin. "So you read my message but didn't reply? Come on, who replies to texts at 5:30 in the morning?" With that, Rin dashed away before the lecture could begin. Luckily, Akbab had to prep for the meeting of Rain's project, so she had to save it for later. Rin sat drafting house designs on paper, the first sheet, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, one after another and another and another, but nothing felt quite right. By now, the trash bin beside her desk was stuffed with crumpled pages. Seeing this, someone walking by felt bad enough to offer her a little snack. "Can't think straight? Try a bit of sugar." Yong handed her a bag of gummy candies. Universal rule. Works every time. "Thanks, big bro." Rin accepted the gift eagerly. If it wasn't a drop in blood sugar, then it was probably just plain hunger starting to hit her stomach. Seeing how she responded, the young architect smiled in satisfaction. Despite the genius-level skill that made her seem difficult, this new recruit wasn't bad at all. During lunch, he subtly nodded to Mei to invite Rin to eat with the group for the first time. "Rin, come sit with us," the accountant called out just as Rin was about to eat alone at her desk. "Yeah, hurry and come join us," Tertiz added, waving her sushi box for Rin to see.
"We've got salmon."
Though Rin hesitated a little, she eventually made her way over. She didn't realize that Akbab was quietly watching not too far off. The young woman's lips curved into a faint smile. Maybe it was the relief of seeing Rin start to fit in with the company and her colleagues. After a while, Akbab left to continue her own tasks. At that moment, Tertiz's phone suddenly rang on the lunch table. Strangely, the girl startled, snatching it up quickly before anyone could see the caller's name, especially Yong, who leaned in with curiosity. "What's with the panic? Hiding your boyfriend from us?"
he teased.
"No, nothing like that," Tertiz replied in a high-pitched voice. "It's someone from home. Excuse me, I'll take this outside." "Pmei, I think our guess was spot on." Glancing after her, Yong whispered with the other two. "What guess?" Rin asked, her brows arching in confusion. "Yong, and I have been wondering if Tertiz already has a boyfriend."
"And?"
"That's odd because?" Rin was more puzzled. "Well, it's just that she always acts super sneaky and denies it every single time. So we started to wonder if maybe she's seeing someone who's already taken or even married." "That can't be true." Rin shook her head, then added probably, since she didn't really know anything about Tertiz's personal life. "Let me give you a little tip, Professor Rin. In this office, love is strictly off-limits." Chan slid his chair into the group and spoke directly to Rin.
"What? Why?"
There's a rule for that? No rule, but if you do, get ready for non-stop gossip. Honestly, I really hate gossiping. He hadn't even finished his sentence before he got smacked on the head by his older brother. Says the guy who gossips the most. You're always playing matchmaker too. Back when Tertiz first joined, you tried to pair her with Young. Who is it this time, huh?
Maybe Akbab.
Rin looked stunned. She fidgeted in her seat, trying to make a quick escape. But when she turned around, she noticed the person they had just talked about standing with arms crossed and an unimpressed look. If you all spent less time gossiping and more time working, every project would be done by now.
Cleaning the office wouldn't be enough.
Maybe we need to deep clean some mouths instead. Of course, the lunch group scattered in an instant. Everyone suddenly had work or something urgent to deal with. Everyone except Rin, who chose to stay and finish her meal, pretending she hadn't done anything. Akbab squinted at her for quite a while before finally turning and heading into her office. Only then did Rin let out a long sigh of relief. She had survived another round with the scary grandma. If I had known you deliberately set the site visit on the same day as Jinta, I probably wouldn't have gone. Come on now, don't be mad. I just wanted you two to meet face to face, showing them we're not in the same league. Too bad Pat wasn't there too. Next time, at least give me a heads up, Mine said, trying hard to keep the irritation out of her voice. Yeah, I'll tell you next time. Anything else? I've got another meeting. That's all.
Mine was still thinking about Akbab.
After hanging up with she opened Akbab's Instagram to check something. She wasn't sure how long it had been days, months, or even years since her ex had blocked her and set her account to private. Mind had already sent a follow request again, ages ago, and there was still no sign of it being accepted. She sighed and set her phone aside, then opened a storage cabinet and pulled out a wooden box. Inside were fragments of her memories, sketchbooks, award certificates from various competitions, old stationery, and a photo album from her university days. Some photos were of her, some of friends, some of landscapes, and some of Akbab during high school, whether from their study sessions, beach trips together, or pictures of them close together. Mind longed for those moments. Her heart pounded as if all her buried emotions were threatening to explode. She picked out the last photo from the album and pinned it up near her calendar, having just made a decision. Mind stared at the photo of herself kissing Akbab's cheek, eyes filled with determination. Akbab had scheduled a meetup with Rin at a library to gather information for their project. As she crossed the parking lot toward the building, she spotted two women in flowing white wedding gowns taking pre-wedding photos in the garden. The atmosphere was sweet and full of joy, radiating happiness that made anyone who saw them smile without knowing. Akbab watched for a long moment, curious and contemplative. She was wondering what kind of love these women shared. What had sparked their feelings for each other? How long had it taken to grow? What made them choose each other? What had they been through to make it here, standing side by side? What's Sha doing, Grandma? Rin's voice rang out as she appeared. You're late. Akbab turned to the girl, not needing to check the vintage watch on her wrist to know Rin had missed the time she'd been told. Only 5 minutes, Rin grumbled, and got a lecture on punctuality in return. She then raised her hands in surrender. Okay. I get it. I'll be exactly on time from now on. So, why did you ask me to meet you here? I'm taking you to gather info. Get inspiration for Mr. Rain and Mrs. Mink's house. Oh, so that's why we're starting by watching those two brides kiss over there? Rin tilted her chin toward the couple still posing under the photographer's guidance. Of course not. It's in the library. Akbab knew Rin was only teasing, so she put on a stern expression and led the way into the building. So why do we have to come all the way here? Wouldn't it be easier to just search online? Rin walked with long strides to keep up, firing her questions. Kids your age are all about convenience. And why do adults your age like to make things difficult? Not everything is on the internet, Rin. There are still plenty of resources that can only be found in books. Some of them aren't just informative, but can spark ideas we never would have thought of ourselves. Akbab felt like giving Rin a full lecture about effective research methods, but with time running short, she only added a quick remark for the girl to reflect on. Besides, not everything online is accurate. Rin didn't argue. She just listened. But she couldn't help noticing how Akbab seemed to know her way around the library pretty well. "Do you come here a lot?" The question seemed to pass right through Akbab's ears.
She didn't respond.
But Rin could sense that the young woman paused to consider her question, as if that split second was enough to bring back memories she wished she could forget. "Hurry up and look for books. The good ones get checked out fast. You don't want to miss out," Akbab said to cut the topic off, prompting Rin to pout and follow along. Akbab didn't want to remember anything. But being back in a place filled with memories tied to that person, she couldn't stop her mind from picturing herself sitting with her chin in her hand, gazing dreamily at Mind as they read together, looking for design references. The atmosphere had been filled with the sweetness of teenage romance. She'd even done something painfully cheesy, like lining up the first letters of 4 book titles to spell out, "I love you, Mind." Seriously, Grandma, these books are ancient, practically fossils. "Is this really going to work?" Rin whispered, peeking over while Akbab was browsing the architecture section. Neither of them knew that on the other side of the massive shelf, someone they didn't want to run into was standing there too, carefully picking out books. Akbab gave Rin a side eye. "There are old ones and new ones. Just pick what you need." "Honestly, do I have to tell you everything? What's wrong with kids these days?" Getting scolded made Rin sulk even more. She was tired of hunting through books, and when she finally found one, she had to flip through every page to find what she was looking for. It was starting to make her dizzy. Compared to typing a few keywords into a search engine, this felt like torture. Finally, due to her short attention span and limited patience, Rin turned to the person beside her for conversation. "So, you're really not going to answer me?" "Answer what?" Akbab was still focused on the art book in front of her. "I asked if you come here often." Rin cleared her throat and added another question. "And who do you come with? Why do you need to know?" "Nothing wrong with knowing. It's not like it's a secret, right? You don't need to know everything. Better spend your time working." Rin knew full well Akbab had every right not to answer, but she couldn't help feeling annoyed.